Right, cold opening, retro remakes. Podcast has started. What's your favourite retro remake?
Is this how we're doing it?
This
Oh,
it,
fuck,
man?
okay.
This it?
Shit. You better do some fucking great intro there because I don't know. I want some. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Press Any Button to Continue.
Oh,
my
that's
name's
it.
Keith and I'm
Oh,
joined by
that's
my
it.
retro too. Okay. What's the best retro remake of all time? Well, here's just a quick thing to end the podcast early. All remakes are stupid. Done.
What? Get the fuck out of here. You don't actually think that, do you?
I don't actually think
Alright.
that, no. I mean, okay, so here's the first question. We have to go
Right.
into the conversation. What's the difference between a remaster and a remake? Let's get this out of the way first so we don't, so we don't have so many betrayals between us.
Yeah. To be honest, to me, they're remakes and remasters are one and the same. It's just a genre. It's a polishing something, and I was waiting for like a dick joke there.
Okay. Sorry, I'm off my game today, apparently. Polishing something and, yeah, go on.
Like totally rebuilding something. Yeah, I don't know. I see remakes and remasters in a kind of the same light, and I realise now that I'm saying the words that doesn't make sense, because there is, say for instance, right, we have The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening on the Game Boy, and we have The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening on the Nintendo Switch. That would be a remake, as opposed to Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes and the GameCube being a remaster. Would that be right?
Basically, I think you're right. A remaster is polishing it. A remake is doing it again.
Yeah. Like I'm happy to talk about them as the kind of same. I'm happy to lump them into the same.
Well, I don't want to
category.
talk. No. Stop that nonsense now. We are educated gaming enthusiasts. Okay,
Not
We're
just
gonna
my
say-
last
we're
2
not-
minutes of us talking. We're not.
Well, yeah, that's true too. This is. Look, I'm going to tell you, like, straight up, right? This is a journey. Okay, we're on a journey right here. This is episode 97 that we've done in 14 weeks. Okay, so we're just trying to get it done, Reed.
Oh, I think that's the best intro we've done so far, man. Just all that. Hello, everybody.
It's
And
definite-
welcome into Press
Hello,
Any
everybody.
Button.
If you can tell, our mental states are not the best.
Right, I'm gonna hit you with right.
No, before you hit me, right?
Go on.
Before you slap me with the long dong justice of the law.
Go on.
We'll talk about both of them, but we will talk to them as remaster reboot. We're not lumping them together, but we'll talk about all of them.
Right.
Retro remaster reboots.
Right. So
Hit me.
we'll jump into remakes, right? Because I'm currently playing Final Fantasy VII Remake, and really, really enjoying it. It is an incredible game. Although it feels like it's going on forever, but I've actually only put about 2 hours, not a huge amount of hours into it. I think it's just because I've spread it out so long, because I'm playing it in smaller
Spread it out.
Yeah.
Spread it, baby. Yeah, you naughty. You naughty little munchkin. Spread it, daddy. Daddy sure knows how to spread it like butter. Like butter.
There you go. Now we're warmed up. Sorry, I'm being thrown off guard here. Final Fantasy VII Remake, I think, is absolutely incredible. I only experienced the original Final Fantasy VII for the first time last year, and as far as I remember, you haven't played the original Final Fantasy VII. Is that true?
I've only experienced the remake.
Right, that's interesting. Yeah. What did you think of Remake as a game? Just as a game itself, nothing to do with Final Fantasy.
I absolutely loved it because it was during COVID. It was during a time where I had the strict routine where I'd get up in the morning and exercise. I literally had almost a six-pack over COVID.
Nice.
I now have a muffin top that I'm just living with. Do you know what I mean? I just call it my love handles. Emma squeezes them and pulls them, and I cower in shame. But during that time, right?
Yeah.
At night, I'd play that every night.
Right.
Like, I know this is maybe a weird thing to say, but I kind of loved the isolation part of COVID. Terrible thing for the world and horrendous, but, like, I loved being, like, cut off from the world a little bit because I was, like, had my routine, had my gaming time, didn't feel guilty about it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It was kind of like a period. So it was very much so my COVID game. And I think I just loved it because I had time to play it. I had time to invest into the RPG elements that game does so well. I was blown away by the graphics and the music. Like, do you know what I mean? Really getting that, like, just the style of it. Like, I was so interested in the fact that Cloud's friend, who is the slightly tubby friend of Cloud,
The guy from Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
His name is like Snatch or Snitch or his name is like something like that. Yeah. But I know him as the voice from the guy in Breaking Bad.
Yeah, totally. So that's what I was going to say too. But and then just Tifa, like, I mean, I don't know if anyone was extra horny over COVID as well, where you were just wanking into oblivion because you had nothing better to do. But there was at least 4 Tifa wanks a day without question. So that destroyed me, really. Do you know what I mean? Like, why were we put in this biological mass where we're just slaves to Tifa? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I will say. You're having a moment there, Margaret. I will say, like, it was a very happy time playing games for me. I was very immersed.
Yeah.
I was very healthy. All things I'm not now.
Do you know what I just realised? It's not just Tifa. It's Barrett, Cloud, Aerith. Barrett?
Aerith, yeah. Barrett. Oh yeah, Barrett's
with the gun.
The A-team guy.
Yeah. with the big gun. They're all fucking hot to trot in that game, man.
Oh, they are.
They're all pretty fucking.
They are. I mean, Cloud has that like androgynous kind of look about him.
Fucking
Sephiroth. Jesus, yeah. I mean, I wasn't sure which way my penis was going when I saw Sephiroth, and I still don't know which way it's going. But I'm into something that's going on there. Do you know what I mean?
The music is really, really good in that game. One thing about Final Fantasy VII Remake for me is it's the first.
Do you know what you sound like? Do you know what's making me laugh right now, Nisha? Do you know when someone's trying to fill up a word quota in an essay and they keep referring back to the thing? Do you know what the thing about the Final Fantasy VII Remake is? That when Final Fantasy VII Remake was made, Final Fantasy VII Remake was launched in an era when the original Final Fantasy wasn't Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Tetris was the first game with Tetris that came out bundled with Tetris. Remember that? From a previous podcast episode.
Fuck, Jesus Christ. Back when life wasn't complicated, what the hell?
So it's the first current gen game that I've played on like a modern high tech TV, and it's the first time I've experienced big
current gen is debatable, but okay.
Well, modern game.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
hold
possibly.
On. It's fucking PlayStation 5. Huh? Is that not?
It's a PlayStation 4 game that's ported to the PlayStation 5.
Is
so
it, yeah?
It's actually technically, it's the one you're playing is a remaster of the remake. I swear to God.
My God.
I swear to God. The one you're playing, this is the fucking crazy video game world we live in. In the space of that time, that's a remaster of the
Holy
remake
shit.
enhanced for PS5.
That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. I didn't realise that. I actually thought it only came out on the PS5.
It did come out for the PS5. It is a PS5 game, but it's a remaster for the PS5. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. But it's the most modern anyway that I've experienced, and just seeing such incredible graphics on a big screen TV that's good quality is really, really cool. From someone who's big into retro and plays a lot of older video games, getting to experience that side of things. Has been very, very interesting, and it's actually got me quite intrigued to go back and play. They wouldn't be modern, but some games that I missed that were more modern, and they were two of them specific are Red Dead Redemption 2 and The Witcher 3. And for some reason, I just feel like playing them on a big telly will just
because they're cinematic, engrossing experiences, right? So it's like you want that movie, you want the movie experience.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Just like when you're fucking looking at those Tifa cutscenes afterwards, you know what I mean? You want that movie experience, you want that 50-inch flat screen, but there's nothing flat going on in my panties, you know what I mean?
This is
Tifa baby. Tifa Lockhart, more like Tifa Cockhart. Oh fuck, dude! I am just off the deep end. Did I tell you I got verified today?
Congratulations!
Thanks very much, man. But I tell you something that pisses me off then on the other side, because I think Final Fantasy VII is an excellent remake, because I think what they're doing is they're doing something unique and different, and they're expanding it, right? So like you're getting a deeper look into the lore of what they were like. Do you know what it's like? Do you know when you imagine something in your head and you draw it out and it looks like shit?
I just can't. This is the most unhinged 10 minutes.
It is perfect hinge.
Sorry, go on, continue.
So do you know when you have an idea in your head and you try and draw it out and it looks like dog shit?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's what's happening sometimes with remakes, where like, you know, they have an idea in their head of what they want, but they didn't have the capabilities to expand it the way they wanted. And then actually having the technology later kind of allows them to do it. And I'm not saying it's always better or worse than the original, but I think in the case of the remake, they're really elongating the game, you know, and even potentially like, you know, subverting some expectations with it, which I think is very, very cool.
Mm-hmm.
The opposite side of that is Nintendo stealing your pension, releasing Skyward Sword from the Wii to the Switch, no price cut, nothing. Fucking still as shit as it ever fucking was, for fucking like more money than it ever cost to play it. Why the fuck would we do this? Also, they released Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Doors. Listen to this. This is the advertisement now for the remake. Now coming to your Nintendo home Switch console, Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door, the GameCube classic running at half the frame rate and twice the price, but you'll fucking love it. That's literally like half the shit. That's the remaster zone.
What? But I think we can both agree, right, to settle on a point of Final Fantasy VII Remake. It's incredible as a remake.
It
is
is
incredible.
Oh well, I mean, I can't.
As a game,
I can only attune it as a game. For me, it's incredible.
From my experience from the original PlayStation 1, it is too incredible as a remake. But when it comes to remaster, so Skyward Sword, let's jump onto that. Was that polished, remastered? Was it? Did they even put a little sheen on it, or is it just ported?
Nintendo, look, what Xbox does for free, Nintendo charges you £60 for,
Right,
which is basically, here is it at 1080p, here is it in HD. But for the most part, like, they don't do anything to it. Do you know what I mean? When they did Wind Waker HD, they did.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying I prefer Wind Waker HD style over the original. It's just different. But they added a new lighting system. They kind of worked around it. They kind of did really do a good job.
Mm-hmm.
Then they did Twilight Princess HD, and that was just literally 1080p.
Right.
Outside having some Wii U pad integration stuff. And then for the Switch, it was just like, here's the same game, just running on the hardware for €60. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's... And that game, like, you would have thought with a game like that from what I believe is one of the like more poorly received Zelda games. Would I be right in saying that?
Saying that was such a good opportunity for them to fix so many small things that would have made it 10 times better.
Yeah,
because the game is actually excellent in parts. Like, it's excellent.
Okay.
But it is just so much lull, like fucking annoying motion control bullshit.
Right.
That like a remake would have been brilliant for that game, because they actually could have re-released it, because it has a great musical score. It has probably one of maybe the better stories in a Zelda game.
Oh, right.
And they just could have fixed it.
Yeah, that's
and you know
they
didn't. Because Nintendo.
That's a shame. That's a shame. Did you ever play the Majora's Mask or Ocarina of Time remakes on the 3DS or DS Lite?
I had the Ocarina one. I didn't own the Majora's Mask one, but I do have the special edition pin from it.
Do you?
And the poster.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
yeah.
I
I played Ocarina, and I loved the updated Link model. You know what I mean? Like, I liked, because the game is more or less the same, but just their character models look a bit more
sharp,
modern.
Yeah.
Not even sharp. Like they've completely remodeled them. Like,
were
the
they?
N64. Oh yeah, like they're nothing like the N64 counterparts. I mean, in terms of like original character design on an art page, they are.
Right.
But Nintendo 64, like, you know, it's the equivalent of Super Mario 64 to Super Mario Sunshine of a difference, I would say, on Mario's model. Right. Do you know what I mean?
I played the 3DS one very briefly. It was on I was on a plane over to Spain or something like that on holidays, and I had a few beers in me, and one of the lads had a DS with him, wasn't arse playing it, and I was like, get shot at there. And I was like drunk.
Jesus, who's this boy in the skirt there? What are you fucking doing down there? Get out that horse now, you hear me? Get in there, that horse. Who's that owl hooting at me there now? But what the boy doing in the skirt there on the horse? Get off him.
But I enjoyed it though. The brief experience I had with it. I would love to see, or I did actually play Ocarina of Time slightly done on the GameCube.
Do you say Ocarina or Ocarina?
I don't know because you've asked me the question now. Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, I think it said Ocarina of Time.
What do you say?
Ocarina.
Oh.
I don't know.
Oh,
Legend of
Ocar.
Zelda, Ocarina.
Oh.
I don't know. I think maybe Ocarina. I don't know. But,
Legend of
tomato,
Zelda,
tomato. Anyway,
Professor
don't get bogged
Ocarina
down
of
on that.
There's a little mix.
Professor Ocarina Time.
Professor Ocarina of Time.
Oh my god! And that is so true! Because did I send you that clip that in the Pokemon movie 3, Ash meets Oak when he was a kid, and that's how he knows to give him the Pikachu.
No.
Please tell me you watched that, Nisha. For fuck's sake. For fuck's sake.
So
well, I'm
I
doing this
haven't-
live on stream because it's...
I haven't been on.
you don't have
media
socials
for the
yeah,
last
yeah, yeah.
while, last couple of weeks. Or
So
whatever.
let me explain this. In
Go on.
Pokemon the movie 3, the
Right.
whole story, this is actually like, I got goosebumps watching it.
Yeah.
I got fucking goosebumps. Can I just find it for you and
Go
send
for
it to you? Do you mind on your
Of course.
laptop?
Yeah, fire away.
Guys, it's actually something that I think will fucking...
Is
Go fucking-
Pokemon the movie 3 about the birds or the dogs?
or maybe it's 4 actually. Maybe it's 4. It still has the original voice actress.
For Ash.
Feel free to just watch it and we can just pause and you can come back.
And we're back.
So,
I just cut out like 3 minutes of the podcast while I watched the video. Now I'm crying.
So, do you understand what's happened?
I do. So, will we just preface a spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't watched?
Yeah, for Pokemon the 4th movie.
Yeah. For Pokemon the 4th movie, if you don't want to know the ending. But if my calculations are correct, Sam is Ocarina of Time Professor Okamon. Or
Mm-hmm. And that's how
Professor
he knew Professor Okamon. Yeah.
Professor Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, Professor Ocarina of Pokemon.
So
yeah.
what? So I'm going to have to watch that movie, man. I'm going to have to watch it.
So this is insane. That's how Professor Oak knew to give Ash Pikachu.
No
because he met him with
way.
Pikachu before. So that's the only reason Ash got a
That is
Pikachu.
so cool.
It's because Professor Oak met Ash when he was a kid, and Celebi time traveled him back. So he's known Ash since he was a kid and always knew who he was his entire journey in life and knew what Pokemon to give him
That
because that's the one he had when he met him as a kid.
That's so cool, man. That is really, really cool.
Fucking chilling, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm going to have to watch that movie. I've definitely seen 1, 2 and possibly 3 of the Pokemon movies. I don't know if I've seen 4. No, I definitely haven't seen 4 because I have never seen that before. That's very, very cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. Anyway, sorry, back to retro remakes. As we talked about Pokemon for a bit, sure, it's as we do.
Can I get derailed a little bit and talk about
Yeah.
something that we have never discussed before on this podcast?
I'd love to go for it.
It's called Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, baby.
Actually, it's called Dragon Ball Super. Okay?
Ooh, how's
Now-
that journey going?
Listeners, right? We're going to keep talking about retro remakes and retro... what are the other one?
Remasters?
Remasters. But I am balls deep, Dragon Balls deep into Dragon Ball Super. And I know it's not a remake or a remaster, but I just want to discuss the extreme shift in art style. Now, what I will say is, right, I'm like 63, 64 episodes in. I'm fairly in there. I know the plot twists and what's happening, and the story is absolutely incredible.
Mm-hmm.
The art style is...
Sucks dick. Yeah.
It's what's going on, man? What's going fucking on?
It's purely a case of no time to make the show.
Is that what it is? Yeah.
Yeah, it's just purely that. Like, as in, you've watched Dragon Ball Broly,
Yes.
and that came out after it,
Right.
and that's like the most beautiful movie of Dragon Ball ever, right? Like, it's like perfect art style. Do
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So it's just purely a case of tight schedules, slow down, more computery looking, off model characters, off model animation, really plasticky, toyish looking, like just no time for it. I mean, don't get me wrong, there is some form of art style too where like I hate that the backgrounds all look plastic and like they're in a toy place or whatever, but most of it is down to, most of the people working on that show are very talented, but it's just like, if I told you like you had a month to do a repair on a house or you had 14 minutes, it's just like, well, I better put Band-Aid over this quickly and fucking run, you know?
It's strange how even the whole design of the characters. I was talking to one of my friends. Has recently, him and his son have recently started watching Dragon Ball Z, and I am elated. One of my best friends, Brian, because it's another person that I can just talk more Dragon Ball with.
Yeah, of course.
But I was telling him, I was explaining. He mentioned about how he loves the hand drawn art because he started at Dragon Ball Z, and I was talking about how there's a serious shift when it gets to Super. But one drastic change with it is even how the people look. So in Dragon Ball Z, say, like the men are all fucking monsters. They're huge.
Yes, they made him skinny,
but
kind of.
they also look like somewhat realistic. Whereas now, well, not realistic, but just what is it called? The ideal form or something. I don't know what the fuck it's called. But they've they've
anatomical.
They've skinnied them down. Everything in the whole style of the drawn just looks real, like squarey or
authentic.
No,
it's like vinyl versus like fucking. I don't know. It's like fucking MP3. Like, I don't know. There's such a technological glaze over it where it just looks shite.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, there's episodes you'll come to, right, where you'll see it looking good.
Oh yeah.
But you will like, but it's very sparse, very sparse. Well, and I think the problem is since it looks so plastic anyway, it's tough, you know.
Yeah. Sorry, I couldn't keep that in any longer, Keith. We haven't talked about.
So,
Dragon
question
Ball
though, because I know you couldn't get into Super. You love GT, you love Z, you love Dragon Ball, right? So 3 for 3 is good in that. I know you find it hard to get into Super, but you kind of have been getting into it more than you initially were.
Yeah, I'm fucking hooked, man. I'm totally hooked on it. The
story-wise, it's just like
it's so
it's great.
But like
that's because
even Goku's like
just
a
read
fucking
the manga.
Goku's like a idiot. He's real like.
That's the biggest complaint I have, man. They regressed him like
silly. Like I know he's always silly, but he's like.
Yeah, but he was serious when he needs to be serious, and he wasn't trying to destroy the world for a fight just for the sake of it, kind of thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's awful. Yeah, he's like, oh my god, he's like fucking Homer Simpson, fucking eyes, and it's just
totally
that is actually my number one gripe with Dragon Ball Super,
but
is
the story in it.
I guess we'll call this episode Retro Remakes, Pokemon Endings, and Dragon Ball Beginnings.
yeah. We could call this episode Retro Rambling. Because it's a bit of everything.
It would just be whatever you want it to be.
You know? But what I've realised, now I haven't looked this up, but I'm fairly sure, who's your man, the Kai, I don't want to give anything away.
Supreme Kai.
The Green Kai, his name's Shamsi?
Oh, Zamasu.
Is that Jason Masters?
Yes.
Spike?
That's he spoke to me in that voice
so
in my cameo.
You
he was
have
like, the world
spoken to a Kai, Keith.
I've literally spoken to a Kai where he said he's going to destroy me.
Yeah.
Because James Masters sent me a cameo and it wasn't as Spike, it was as Zamasu.
Was it as no fucking way.
Yes, it was as Zamasu.
See, I saw that. I'd know who that was. You're gonna have to send me that again, will you? I'm gonna have to watch it again. That was very cool. But I like Zamasu, very cool character. I love. I don't want to give any spoilers away. I love.
It's okay. You just say characters.
I love Trunks in all his forms. I think he's a very cool character. I love the story to it, man. It's so like I think
I've
the
watched
whole
that faster. The whole Goku Black
Ball.
arc is well thought out.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? I think it's like it's the same way I feel like the Cell arc was well thought out. You know, with the whole time travel shenanigans.
Yeah. So that I do. I love that whole story. Yeah, Goku Black, the time traveling, everything. It's very, very cool.
Yeah, it's interesting because like you're gonna blast through that series and you're gonna be like, oh, did you get the DVDs you ordered? The movies?
Haven't ordered them yet.
Dude, that's gonna scratch your itch for Dragon Ball Z.
I know because I know Lasersteak Ben got that box set.
Did he say of any issues with it?
I don't know, no, but I think there's like 13 movies in it.
Yes, there is 13 movies. Yeah,
I think I've seen
also
4 movies. Have I 5 movies roughly?
You've watched like the new ones. You've watched nothing of the. You've watched all the canon shit.
I watched.
You watch Resurrection F, you watch Battle of Gods, you watch the Broly movie, you watch The History of Trunks, you watch the 2 specials, which don't technically count as movies.
What was the other one I watched most recently with Goku's dad?
Was it Father of Goku Bardock or something?
Bardock,
or
yeah,
something
Bardock,
like that.
the Bardock one. That was very cool as well. I really liked that.
Uh-huh. Yeah, they
Um,
were that special. The Trunks one and that one are just TV specials. They aired for 40
right.
minutes on TV.
Right,
They were
so they're
never a
not
theatrical
movies.
release or anything like that.
Ah,
Yeah, they weren't technically movies. They were just like
Right.
long episodes, I guess.
Right.
But yeah, there's one that the 13th movie out of that set is Dragon Ball for me at its peak, and it takes Ocarina of Time inspiration, which is
Seriously?
incredible.
That's
Mhm.
a mix of genres that I can definitely get on board with.
Yeah. What are you playing at the moment, by the way? Are you just raw dogging remake at the moment?
Yeah, raw dogging it, man. I did.
I'm raw dogging life at the moment.
Yeah, we both are. I dipped my balls into Nintendo World Championships for a little while. The Nintendo World Championship.
Did you play? Let's be totally honest with this,
Go
right?
on.
Because that seems to have died a fucking death, right?
Yeah.
Like, did you play it once, say cool, and now are you like, I'm not going to play it again?
Maybe.
Yeah, because I've been hearing that a lot. Where like the whole point of that game is to be addicted to like the scores, but it's not a Mario Maker. It's. I think you just want the special edition, right? Like you're happy with that. The game, it's okay if it's in it or not.
I'm not one for special editions, but it is my favorite special edition I've ever gotten. The pin badges are so fucking nice, man. The gold
And that technically
part.
is a remake as well, by the way, of all the old
true.
stuff put together.
True.
So it's kind of thematic, if we squeezed it.
I did all of the Super Mario Bros. Challenges, and I don't know.
I don't like the way the whole screen is taken up with the fucking border of like the thing, like isn't the timer and the buttons
Yes.
and doing that GDQ games done quick kind of speed running overlay. I just kind of I don't know. I think Mario Maker got it in one, and I think if they ever have a Mario Maker 3 where it's N64 levels, I will play that for an entire year straight.
Yeah, that'd be very cool actually. That'd be really good actually. Oh shit, yeah.
Yeah, I would kill for that. Actually, you know what's an interesting topic as well?
Go on.
What are your like wish games? Like a game you wish existed? Do you know, like would you want like Zelda Maker, or would you want like, is there any games you have that you would love a sequel to, or like what are like the games you wish for?
That is a really good question. What are the games I would really love? I'd love a Super Mario 64 like RPG. And I'm not talking Paper Mario. I'm talking the land of Super Mario 64. Or maybe like a sequel where, and I know there's 3DS, but I'm not talking 3DS. A sequel where when you get 120 stars and you could get up to the roof of the castle and you get to see Yoshi and Yoshi just fucks off. Then maybe where you like got on his back and he jumped off somewhere and you landed up
and
in
you like that's a whole new
say
adventure
you landed
kind of thing.
in like Donut Plains. This will bring it into remake. You landed in Donut Plains from Super Mario World, but it was in Super Mario 64 graphics.
Yeah. Or like what about like a remake of Super Mario World in 3D?
Yes, and
Yeah.
also the game that I always wanted.
Like imagine going into the Boo's Castle in 3D, like all completely redone and stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, man, it'd be very cool.
I dream of that Mario 128 because when the GameCube was announced, they had that Ocarina tech demo for the sequel to Ocarina, and they had Mario 128. Like I want those games.
What's Mario 128?
So initially Mario 128 was like the GameCube prototype demo. They had a demo for Mario where to show the power of the GameCube they had 128 Marios running around.
Oh yeah.
On that ball thing.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Which like I kind of just wish like Mario Sunshine is a bit of the black sheep of the Mario series in the sense that like it has a very unique flavor, the fact that you have the flood on your back. Do you know what I mean? It's a bit of a Luigi's Mansion and Mario Sunshine are actually kind of like a little bit of companion pieces.
Yeah, what's the story with that? Were they just that's true. I never thought about how you have flood and then you have your Hoover. That's
and I think it's made lore wise made by the same dude, Egad, which is kind of cool as well.
Gotta be kidding me.
You gotta be fucking me. I'm walking here. Get out of here, flood.
Do you know what I would love?
Spread it.
A dream game would have been the original Pokemon, what we wanted Pokemon Stadium to be. A fucking
totally.
RPG.
Yeah. What I conjured in my brain, and look, it would be kind of pointless having it now because it wouldn't have the same effect on you. But back then, Pokemon Red and Blue and the N64 is what we all fucking wanted and needed and dreamed of and desired. And why couldn't they give it to us, man?
I don't know. I don't fucking know. What about you? What is a dream game, or do you have any?
See, I have sequels that come to mind. Like, I'd love a Half-Life 3.
Right.
I'd love, like, series that needed to finish and they didn't, kind of thing.
Are you a prequel man?
I would love
do you like prequels?
I'm into prequels. I love Devil May Cry 3. It's a prequel.
Keith, sorry, right?
Yeah?
I have to tell you, right.
Did you play more Devil May Cry?
No, but it turns out I have played Devil May Cry 3 in like 2010 or 11 or 12 or something. So basically, I noticed that I've been PlayStation 4 sitting in the sitting room, right, or in the back room there, and it's gathering dust. I don't play it anymore. It's obsolete because I'm playing the PS5. But it got me thinking of games that I've played on the PS4, and I decided to look up trophies. Because I've been having a conversation with Harry about trophies and, platinums and achievements. And it actually was spanned from us talking about the World Championships game. But I looked through my old trophies, and it starts with PlayStation 3 around 2010, I think. Is that when it came out? Or that's when I first... Actually, no, sorry.
PlayStation 3 came out in 2006.
Yeah, I got it years after.
Jesus.
What? See?
Sorry, I have no fucking idea what just happened there. My camera just decided to have an old wobbler and do its own thing.
So it showed my trophies list, but it was mad looking at it, right? Because it was, when I looked at the games, I was taken back to that time in my life, to houses I was living at the time, places I was working with at the time. It was crazy. It was mad. But there was games on it I'd totally forgotten, and one of those games was Devil May Cry 3. And I only had like about 4 or 5 trophies in it, so I only played a couple of hours. But I played it and had zero recollection, which I think is strange because
do you think it's possible though?
You got me into it again, and or you got me into it full stop.
Well, I tried to get you into it. I don't think it landed, but the interesting thing is, do you think someone else just played it on your account though?
Nah, definitely not. No, there's no way.
That's funny.
Yeah.
It's interesting because you're kind of like that, right? Where like you'll be like, I have no recollection of yesterday happening. Like I'll be like, do you remember when we went to that shop? You're like, no, it didn't happen. Do you know what I mean? Where like I'd be like, fucking Jesus, someone like farted on the street in 1996 and it like fucking ingrained into my brain. Yeah, it's just funny to me that like if I played a game like for like in 2010 for like, I don't know, like a couple of weeks, or like how long did you play it for? Did you play it for an hour? Like what the fuck?
Well, I got a couple of trophies in it, so I had to have played it for a few hours.
Jesus, like it's funny that like you wouldn't ring a bell of like, sure, that cutscene I remember when he's running down the side of the building fucking flaking around the place.
Nothing like
I am dying for a new Devil May Cry. And I would love a Devil May Cry 3 remake. Speaking of remakes that I would love. Is there a remake you would love? There's a Dead Rising one coming out, which I'm pretty hype about. But if there's a game you'd love to be remade in all its glory, or
Ocarina
2D
of
to
Time.
3D, or
Ocarina of Time, like given the Final Fantasy 7 remake, that kind of remake.
I guess that's as close. Final Fantasy 7 remake of the remake of the remake of the port of the remaster. That's actually probably the closest game, that like has that level of audacity, if you know what I mean, or that level of like love and affection for like a remake. But I guess it's also like one of those games that Nintendo's like, well, we'll keep that in the back pocket to make 9 bajillion euro off of when we need it,
Yeah. Do you know what I would love? Right, here's something, a dream of mine is, have you seen that concept art or fan art piece that somebody drew of a Studio Ghibli version of a Legend of Zelda movie? I'd love it. Like hand drawn, fucking watercolor, whatever kind of art style it is.
Yeah, I know. It's you see, it's funny to me, right? Because before you started your Dragon Ball journey, man, how much you've learned about art. I used to tell you things like, doesn't that look amazing? You're like, I literally did not notice the difference between anything. Like you literally were like, it literally could have been a static JPEG of Goku for 20 minutes on the screen, not moving, but like, didn't notice a thing by it. And now you're like a fucking savant. Now you're like a connoisseur of like, Goku's left fucking ass cheek looks fucking slightly out of line there.
That's
I have an idea. You know what I think we need more than anything? Obviously, we need a fucking holiday from life. But what we need more than anything is we need to just create a fort,
yeah.
get a pillow for it, watch all the Studio Ghibli movies, and just get fat on pizza and fucking and burn all the technology around us.
Yeah.
Watch all the Studio Ghibli movies on a CRT.
Oh, that's
Spirited Away VHS.
That's a good shout, man. I'm actually gonna I'm gonna look up VHS. I haven't seen a Studio Ghibli movie on VHS.
I remember I got Spirited Away on VHS. I think I rented it. I think actually. How is your Cowboy Bebop journey going, by the way?
Yeah, it's good. I have a weird relationship with Cowboy Bebop, right? Because I love it. Like I really, I love it. I think it looks great. I love the characters. I love the music. I love the story. But I, it's just not hitting me. I don't know what it is. I'm not getting that spark.
I think I know what
Do
it
you know
is.
what I mean? I'm not getting that. I don't know if it's because
I think you're someone.
Go on.
There's no continuity between episodes sometimes, so I think,
Maybe
and you
that's what
like
it is.
fucking like what's next time on Dragon Ball Z, you know, you're gonna.
Absolutely, yeah.
So it's probably a little bit to do with that there's an overarching story, but it's like, you know, you'll be with Spike one time and then you're having a Faye episode, or you're having a 9 episode, or you're having a Jet episode, and
yeah.
it's interesting one, alright, though.
It's very
I feel
good.
like if I forced you to sit you down and probably binge it in one go, you'd probably be like, that's fucking amazing. But I think being able to come and go from it is probably hard.
I think I'm gonna have to start it again to really appreciate it, and I'll probably do that post Dragon Ball Super, which
like, dude, I think I have better animes for you to watch post Dragon. Like, would you want to talk about anime for a bit?
Yeah, you were telling me about not One Punch Man. The big
One Punch is good, but it's just like
something
fun.
huge, something monsters, giant, huge robot monsters.
Oh, Attack on Titan.
Yeah.
Attack on Titan is a fucking depressing slog in ways, but it's excellent.
Yeah.
But I think if you want something that's like the shonen style, which is Dragon Ball, Naruto, One Piece, but more serious in parts and more as like a more deeper story, I think probably the best entry level for that is Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, which is on Netflix, which if you wanted to watch it tonight, I'd highly recommend it.
Brotherhood, is that different to Full Metal? Is there
Brotherhood is basically like Dragon Ball Kai in the sense that it's like it's the more restructured, better storytelling. No, it's actually a remake. It's not actually. It's actually a complete remake. So there's Full Metal Alchemist, which is the whole anime, and then there's Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, where they redid the whole thing from the ground up to be as close to the original author's design as possible to have a better viewer experience. Like completely redrawn the whole thing.
Oh, right, nice. Is Dragon Ball Z Kai updated in any way or just cut?
Remaster. It's basically a remaster. So they redid the colors because the colors faded on the thing they have, and they redid all the voice acting. So all the same voice actors except Gohan, Kid Gohan. All redone, so they have new dialogue. It's all so like the voice acting's because with Dragon Ball it was all over the place. It was like they came in halfway through with different voice actors and it went back and forth. Dragon Ball Kai is the manga. It's all the fillers gone. There's no driving episode, but it is all like if you want just like you should just watch Kai really, right? If you want to taste the Dragon Ball again.
Yeah, like when I finish Super, I will Sparkling or Daima. What's the new series that's coming out?
Oh, Dragon Ball Daima, yeah, Daima.
When's that out?
October.
Right. I'll be finished Super before that. I think I might get Kai. I might watch Kai because that sounds.
Kai has a Blu-ray set that you can get as well.
I was kind of looking back at or I was considering watching Z again. Yeah. Yeah,
it's worth it. I mean, like it's so long and good that it's like.
I've watched,
and then you'll also be like, Super is even shitter now.
Do you know what's strange, Keith? I honestly think GT might be my favourite Dragon Ball show.
I love that it's your favourite. I love that because I have a big love for it too. I do think it's not executed great, and I do think there is some fucking boring titty episodes in it, like, and it is short, and it's it very clearly didn't have a direction from day one, right? They had some great ideas. I love you know what I love about it? It feels the most nostalgic. Yeah. And that's the weirdest thing about it. Like somehow it elicits nostalgia, unlike the other series do.
I didn't even
and
watch
it elicits that sense of childhood. Yeah. But like, because I wanted to do a YouTube called The Nostalgia of GT. Before I had to do this Kick feature program. which anyone doesn't know, I got picked as a 22 streamer thing to do a front page feature, come up with ideas. So I had to put a pause on my YouTube videos. You know, I was like, there's no way. And I'm glad I did, because I think I would have had a breakdown if I tried to keep doing them. But I wanted to try a video completely scripted called The Nostalgia of GT. And I wanted to talk about what is it about that show that elicits emotions that, even though maybe on paper it's not brilliantly executed, but there's something that hits your emotions. And I wanted to talk about, like, I just wanted to talk about that, you know.
Keith, I genuinely think we have to have a Dragon Ball podcast at some point. I just feel like like, not that I want to stop, press any button to continue, but I just feel like the conversation just comes out of me. Like, I can't.
Yeah. It's very natural. It's very natural.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked a lot about video games for 2 years.
Yeah, we can wish on any Dragon Ball to continue. Could you call wish any Dragon Ball?
Do you know what? Wishing isn't a bad idea for some form of name, like kind of. The podcast could be called Shenron's Wish, and we talk about everything we wish we love about Dragon Ball or something.
Could be called Shenron's Dick.
Shenron, I'm going back down into my truck riding on Shenron. Shenron looking good.
We'll potentially press any button to continue. Season 6 potentially will be a Dragon Ball season, so just heads up, listeners.
Well, I think we have like, it'd be nice to have like a transparent conversation as well about the fact that, like, we obviously tried an episode a week this season, and I don't think we're going to be doing it again.
Well, what we could do is, and this is, me and Keith are literally discussing this in a moment, it wasn't planned, so we have,
as you can tell, nothing in this episode was planned.
Yes. I think this episode has to be called Retro Rambling.
Retro Ramblings, yeah.
We were season 5. We've been doing an episode a week, and we've also been doing a bonus features episode on Patreon every week as well. So you're getting 2 episodes a week basically. But what we could do is, because it has been a bit much, I think, for the two of us.
I think it's been a bit of a blur too.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
Like
it kind of
feels
doesn't
like
settle with me. It doesn't. I don't get to settle with the episodes.
And I don't think there's probably enough time either to. Like, I'm still happy with the episodes, but I just think, and obviously, look, we were trying to do a part 1, part 2 too, and then what happens is I think we got overwhelmed.
Right, when it felt right, I that's the reason why I didn't push
part
that.
1, part 2, I think is a good idea to continue on in the future in capacities for sure.
Right.
I do like the part 1, part 2 thing. I think in terms of, like, I think it can call for it, and I think it can not call for it. You know what I mean? I think there's like good ending points and good starting points. But I think, you know, I think we tried to do so much all at once, right? We're like, we're going to have 2 parts to every episode. We're going to do it every week. And then by the time we got to, like, fucking, and then we were like, okay, this episode didn't need 2 parts. Then we got to the next week and we're like, there's no way we're just going to keep talking because my brain is fucked.
Do you know what it's like? Picture this, right? You're a kid at a fun fair and you see a very fast roller coaster and you're like, I want to get on that. That looks fun. You get on that roller coaster, that harness closes, and you shit your pants and you're like, "What?"
Yeah,
that is how I'm gonna sum up season 5 for me, anyway.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's been. It has been a blur, and I think, like, you know, it's so easier to remember the last seasons. Like, you know, I can't remember what we recorded last week. Like, I wouldn't even enter into my brain what we did last week. I don't know what we weren't even recording last week because we had a breakdown. But the week before, like, I don't know what it was. What was it?
I actually can't remember, if I'm being honest.
Like, it's so bad. Can you remember the one?
But
Video Game Stores is the last one I remember doing, and there's definitely
yesterday.
some after that.
Hold on,
there?
let me go on to our incredible podcast.
And also, look, the reality is like
The Art of Being Bored was our last.
The Art of Being Bored. Actually, that was actually a cool episode too. But by the fact that I feel like we didn't get to ruminate in it, or you know, I feel like we've shot ourselves in the foot in a way, right? By, like, we had all these great ideas, and then we used those great ideas on weekly things that, like, we had to rush through. Do you know what I mean? And we had some, and, like, I'm happy with the episodes. It's not that I'm not, but it's an interesting one.
So Dragon Ball
You gotta try ideas. What? Dragon Ball podcast?
Look, man, it's
no, dude. Dragon Ball podcast is happening, and we're gonna shadow drop it. We're gonna shadow dragon drop it.
Yeah, baby.
Why don't we call the podcast Shadow Dragons?
That's it.
Or, you know what would even be more niche, doing a Dragon Ball GT podcast? That would be fucking insane.
I'll do it.
That would be
64
like
episodes.
That would be like the nichest niche.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's big. You know what? It's funny, right? Because like these last months or two have been like, there's been a lot of those creative dreams being fulfilled, and it's just been a fucking blur.
Yeah. Tell us
You know
about
what I mean?
your
It's just
latest
like-
one from today. Since we're on a total, like this episode, there's no continuity to the conversation.
Yeah, I love the way we try to start. But this is our problem, right? You know what I think is there's a slight problem that I think. So I think we're so fine with talking about anything
Yeah.
that trying to put a leash on what we should talk about can hurt the experience a little
Yeah.
bit. You know what I mean? It's like, because at the beginning we didn't know each other, so we're like, it was really good to have like topics and stories to talk about. But now we're just kind of, I don't know. It's probably
The honeymoon's over.
No, the honeymoon's over. No, but not like that. But I mean, it's just like, you know, it's just so. I feel like we've just gone into the topics of like we just like chatting to each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I know people will enjoy that too.
I'd
Do you know
love
what I mean? I know they will.
if somebody has made it to whatever amount of time we are into the podcast, I'd love to get people's genuine feedback, whether they didn't like it or they did like it, and it genuinely won't bother me if someone said it was a bit too rambling.
Yeah, because we're all fucked up. So you know, it's just so it is what it is, and it's not a problem
I'd
because
love to.
we like our old episodes too. It's not that. Do you know what I mean? It's just.
But I would like
it's
to
just we tried to do a season of an episode, so this is like where our brains are at.
Yeah, we are basically mush at the moment. What are we going to do for our season finale?
I would like to do a 50th episode celebration where we just talk about the podcast. We probably should actually put that in the Discord after this. Just like, hey, tell us. So what we'd like to know, if you're listening to this episode, that we'll put in the episode questions, is we want you to talk about the podcast in any way you want. There's no leash on it.
Because
you can
next
talk about what your
episode is the
favorite
50th.
episode was.
The 50th. The 50th.
Sorry?
Just to say that next episode is our 50th episode and our
That's
season 5
crazy.
finale. So that's just to give some context.
Yeah. So like, it's just to have anything you want to say about it. Like, you know, if you hated it, you liked it, if it meant something to you, if you know, as heartfelt or as not heartfelt as you want, as long or as short as you want, as just whatever your favorite episode was, or just, you know, your overall experience with the last fucking 5 seasons. Jesus Christ, it is weird. It feels like, I don't know. It feels like we're coming to some sort of momentous occasion.
Yeah, the birth of our Dragon Ball podcast.
The birth and death of our podcast. Oh yeah.
Do you know what?
Like,
do
it's
you know what
funny.
would be funny,
Yeah,
right?
go on.
So, if through some bizarre circumstance this is your first episode and you've lasted this long, typically what we do with a season is we release 10 episodes and we take a couple of weeks off and we come back nice and fresh. I think it'll be funny that after next week, say, and we have a couple of weeks off, to listen back to this episode and be like, fucking hell, there was a lot going on there.
There was a lot going on in our lives, wasn't there?
Yeah. But what it's the difference it'll be to having like a breather in between the episodes is what I'm trying to get at. You know, when we do, if we decide to go back to doing one every other week. Now we could to have it a weekly one. I suppose we could just have podcast Patreon, you know, in a weekly segments, just to keep it like that. But it'll be interesting to see after we have a break and a bit of a rest, what, like, looking back on specifically this episode, because it has been chaotic. Now look, we have our own
it's kind of the antidote I needed to everything else going on in my life, though, if that makes sense as well. It's weird.
Yeah it is. It's nice, isn't it? So tell me
it's
this,
like sleepy snooze time.
you
Yeah, go on.
How long have you been streaming for, Keith? I mean, like,
I got affiliated on Twitch in 2017 of April. So
2017.
7 and a bit years since I've been affiliated. It's probably longer. Let's say 8 years.
And what happened today?
I finally got motherfucking verified partnered, baby.
Yeah, baby. Congratulations, man. I am delighted for you. Very well deserved.
Thank you, dude. Yeah, it's been a wild time. Like, I mean, because it's funny, because for a lot of people's brain, it's been a year, because, you know, it's been a year since I moved to Kick and started my journey there. But the reality is, like, everything I did before it was, you know, it comes over to it too. You don't really start again. A lot of my community came over, and slowly but surely, you know, as I got more into it, they came over too. Yeah. So it's been wild. I was one of 22 streamers picked to represent Kick in this new program they had, where they wanted you to come up with, you know, 3 shows a week, have an episodic series arc of kind of what you wanted to roll with. And I've been doing that. I've done the evolution of Zelda. By Monday I'll do Link to the Past, Tuesday I'll do Ocarina of Time, and Thursday I'll do Breath of the Wild and kind of critique and look back. Did a Resident Evil, and this week I'm doing a Metal Gear Solid, which I've actually never touched the game, so it's very interesting trying to play them a little bit each.
That's pretty cool.
And you can really see, you have a first-hand reaction of like, oh my god, this game looks really good after the first one or whatever, and I got 1 day left in that, and while it was a fucking amazing experience, I'm looking forward to a break from, just kind of going back to waking up and being like, I'm going to play Sega Wii Sports bass fishing, or bass fishing, you know what I mean? So, yeah, and through all that, man, we got verified, and it's incredible.
Very cool.
It's been a wild ride. And I think with as well, like with all the growth, you get fucking shit thrown at you as well, so that's part of the stress too, adapting and learning, and it's kind of like being thrown into, I don't know, you know what I mean? It's like you get thrown into a new light and a new circumstances, and not everyone's going to be happy with your success. You know what I mean?
True.
And that's the truth of life, I think.
Well, I'm happy for your success, Keith.
Thank you. No, honest to God, Nisha,
Genuine,
like everyone who's anyone to me is delighted and over the moon. But yeah, it's been fucking awesome. I think once like I can sit back and relax, I can't even enjoy it now because there's been such a head fuck of it's been such a busy month. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's the hardest I've ever worked. It's the most shit that's ever been going on personally, externally, and everything. So it's like, I just feel like your heart's on a fucking 100 miles an hour constantly. So, you're just trying to rest into yourself,
Well, next week for episode 50, I'm going to have a bottle of wine. You're going to have a bottle of wine.
I'm going to have a bottle of wine because I have to move out of my apartment.
If you think we are unhinged sober, wait till you hear me after 2 bottles glasses.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. I feel like the 50th episode celebration will be a celebration of us. I also feel like a lot of the fucking stress in my life will be chilled by then
it's
as well.
It's like Thanos after hitting the snap and just sitting down.
Yeah, exactly. I've just erectus deleteus just everything out of my fucking existence and ready to go with it. So yeah,
very good. Well, look, man, I think that's a nice way to round down this fucking chaotic episode.
I liked it though.
Yeah.
You know what? Even if, look, I tell you what, listeners, if it wasn't great for you, at least it was good for us.
It was.
Yeah, because our we've been so busy, we haven't got to sit down and chat much outside. Literally, now
we haven't.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was a good opportunity just for us to have that space.
Yeah, it was. So thank you for giving us this opportunity. And next week, episode 50, season 5 finale. Bottle of wine in one hand, dick in the other. We'll see you then.